I'd like to start by inviting Ms. Marja Artama to speak a few minutes on the Theosophical Society and the world teacher Sri J. Krishnamurti.
Thank you, Dr. Sankara, for this invitation to this very special occasion. I was asked to talk about Krishnamurti and the Theosophical Society, or anything around that, and I may point more to the last one. I arrived yesterday from Finland after 13 hours travel, and in Finland, Krishnamurti was quite early known. There were friends who really tried to organize to have Krishnamurti visit the TS Finland when he was traveling in Scandinavia. He came to Stockholm, but there was something in Switzerland, so he had to return. Anyway, when Annie Besant talked about Krishnamurti and becoming as the world teacher, and this Star of the East started, it was also founded in Finland. So there was a group of that there also. And today the lodges study Krishnamurti there. And also other countries. I know the lodges, which are study groups and centers, they do study Krishnamurti. They read and listen. Especially in Europe and in South America, I think it is more. I don't know how in East Asian countries, how widely it is done here. Krishnamurti said that his purpose was to bring or make people free, to make them realize and become aware by recognizing how the mind works. Becoming aware of the mind's functioning, one can start observing. That makes one free from restrictions of the mind, which we have. It's like freedom from the known. We are talking about more like individual freedom. We have many things which are in our minds, all the knowledge which we have, all the opinions, anything. But how to get freedom in that concept, it is a question which Krishnamurti very much pointed out. But then, what is relationship between organization and freedom? That was asked by someone in one of the books. Where does freedom begin and organization end? Krishnamurti said, organizations are needed in this complex world to communicate, to travel, to have food, clothes, etc. These should be efficient and humane. That he said. These organizations which we do need in living, they need to be efficient and humane. That is the thing which is very important, I think. Then Krishnamurti asked, are you not separating freedom from everyday existence? Because the questioner asked, where does organization end, and then we are free? But that is not the question. We cannot separate freedom from everyday existence. It should be here. The question is it possible to live in freedom and to organize life from this freedom, in this freedom? Organizations of beliefs, create divisions. The matter is, can we live without divisions? When the core of organization is freedom, then it is not likely to cause divisions. And I am very happy to say that the core declaration of the Theosophical Society is freedom of thought. And that is really which has a great impact on my search and being in this area of trying to find some spirituality and meaning in life and so on. I assume that most of you know about Krishnamurti's life span. From his discovery, his education, first in the Theosophical Society and then in London, and he's growing to a great speaker and dissolving the Star of the East. And then we know about his painful process that he had to go through, and then becoming a really great speaker and we can say world teacher. This process that he had to go through was probably, as I understood, for consciousness to become receptive to high spiritual level or source of wisdom, of truth and truth. I personally have a very rosy picture or view of these decades that Krishnamurti lived in the world, in this world, regardless of the divisions that took place by the Star of the East. This happened because of the message of freedom and love. Freedom, there is no freedom without love. That freedom of thought, is in the core of the Theosophical Society. Freedom of study Krishnamurti, freedom of study anything which is meaningful in life. And we have a lot of quotes by Krishnamurti which really enlighten people. It is impossible to find anything that would not be true in what Krishnamurti has spoken or written. Anything we read that he has said, it's based on truth, the true thinking. And nowadays we have a privilege to read and view and listen him, his talks, his message to the world, and to get more understanding and insight. If you don't mind a little personal experience or something, Krishnamurti traveled a lot speaking around the world. I happened to find myself in Saanen in Switzerland in 1977 or 78, something like that. There were hundreds of participants listening him. The life in the camp was very easy and nice. And the big tent, when we went to listen him, the atmosphere was intense, like intensity was touchable. My English was school English, so not very deep in that sense at that time, 1970s. But when I listened to him, I understood everything, not sentence by sentence. When the talk was over, I wondered what did he say? But that is the wonderful thing here. You listened him, and it was not listening by word or not a thought. What did he say? That was not the thing. Because I didn't recall what he had said in that talk, which I thought I understood everything. I decided that next morning I will write down what he's talking. And what happened? The only thing that I could write down was the subject was the observation without observer. I think that's the really important. So when you observe, if you observe it, I am observing, it's not real. But when you observe, there is no me, but still you observe, something in you observes. So the effect of such a person in whose presence you are, there it is more likely that you may understand, although you cannot repeat. I went to Crotona Institute of Theosophical Society in Ojai in California. I went there for 3 months study. And then in Ventura, near there, was a lady called Aino Sovio, a Finnish lady, old woman at that time already. And he had been a housekeeper for Krishnamurti in Ojai, in his house, a few years. Housekeeper, so she was the one who bought the food for breakfast and so on, arranged those practical things. And she told that Krishnamurti always wanted to make his breakfast himself. Of course, Aino had bought all things to be ready there, but he really prepared everything himself. But one day, Aino came to me, to Crotona, and said, Marja, now let's go lunch. Rosalind Rajagopal has asked for lunch. Those who know Krishnamurti's life, Rosalind Rajagopal must be familiar. Well, yeah, I can't tell the history here, but anyway. So Rosalind was very much involved with Krishnaji's travels around the world and those things. So we went for lunch, and there was only Rosalind, Aino, and me. She had sent the cook away. Rosalind was already also aged person, but she had sent the cook even away. I was wondering, what is it? So as a young woman, I was decided only to listen. I was not accustomed to raise questions so much. And then Rosalind started to tell about her experience of Krishnamurti. Well, a few incidents, but I tell here one incident. She told that when Krishnamurti, she was to come to their home, and there were some people in the garden waiting Krishnamurti to come. And then Krishnamurti was slowly walking the path with the trees surrounded there, and slowly walking. And she said that Krishnamurti was surrounded by light, and he came nearer, and the brightness was so strong to Rosalind that she couldn't anymore see Krishnamurti through that, and she fainted. This is what she told. Maybe that has been written in some of the biographies. I'm not sure about that. But then she told that to us. And I think that Rosalind must have had some high sensitivity to spirituality. That's why she could recognize this. The other attendees theirs did not faint, only her. So there was some kind of that connection. Well, now last example, 1992 I came to India, Adyar first time, and then we went with a small group to Vasanta Vihar, the center of Krishnamurti in Chennai. And we were introduced the place and the library. And in the library there are books of star bulletins bound. And I picked just randomly one of them and opened it. And in those pages there were lists of contact persons in all the countries in the world. And of course I looked Finland. And there read Hjalmar Arvidsson. That was my grandfather. And I didn't know that he had been the contact to this organization. And it was too late to discuss or ask from him more about that. But it was a very nice connection, because it had a meaning, this organization, and there was a meaning to dissolve it. I'm definitely about that, because of the freedom of which Krishnamurti, and because of not becoming a person who would have followers like, worshipping followers in a wrong way. I mean, yeah. He can have devotees and something like that, and we all read him. That's perfectly good. But he didn't want to become a guru in that sense, to be worshipped. But still, we adore and we appreciate and all this. So I will now end this short opening of mine and look forward to this event. Thank you.